Yum, yum!
Greg here from Pixel Fondue. This is the final model we're going to be making in this tutorial. I've divided this up into about 7 different half-hour sections. I know that's a lot, but like a half hour at a time is plenty. And so I usually get through one or two of these, maybe 2 of these components per session. Altogether, it's like a day. So like if you're really just learning plasticity and you want to spend a day doing a tutorial series, this is a good one for you. Keep in mind that the source files for this will be available on the Pixel Fondue Discord. You can just download this model and mess around with it or do whatever. And we've got a whole plasticity section there for training and files and chat as well, and a bunch of like Q&A and other stuff. So come to the Pixel Fondue Discord if you are a plasticity user, and I'll put the link to the Discord in the description. Oh, also you can get 10% off of plasticity if you want to buy it, or if you're just using a demo, if you want to buy it, you get 10% off with the code PixelFondue, and I'll put that in the description as well. Okay, so let's work on those brackets, those side brackets. And so what is the best way to do those? You'll notice that they, there's this piece here and then the same piece on either end. Then they're connected, just sort of diagonal pieces of metal. All right, I think we can do that. So let's go, let's just go back to plasticity and look at it from the side. So press 3, and I'm going to go to a center rectangle, and I'm just going to sort of, let's see if we can just kind of hover over here until it snaps in the center of this guy. We're just sort of lining it up. And click and drag it out a little bit. We're just getting a rectangle. We're just a starting place. So hit enter, you can see the little rectangle here. And then I'm going to just press 1 to get the vertices, and I'm going to press G and move it over a little bit. Hopefully you can see this. Enter, and then G again, maybe just something like this. Let me press 2 to get the whole rectangle. I'm just gonna go to the top view, and I'm gonna move it out to the edge like this, so it's just sitting on the edge here, maybe over the edge a little bit like this, something like that. So again, looking at it from the top, you can see what it looks like. And then from the side, I'm going to press 1 and G and just lengthen those out a little bit. And then I'm going to press 2 and select the whole thing, and Shift D to duplicate. So now I've got another one, and I'm just gonna move this all the way over to this side like this. In fact, let me just Control Z, undo that. Let's do the little, let's do this. Let's Control D to duplicate it and move it over to the middle. This is gonna be our middle one. And then I'm going to finish up this side with an arc. So I'm gonna just click on my arc tool here. There's click and hold, and you can see all these tools. Let's do the 3-point arc. Click once on that dot, click once on this dot, and then click, just sort of drag up to nice little arc there. Looks like a basketball key. T will give us our scissor tool. We'll just chop out that middle line there and hit OK. And then 2 for curve selection. Select both of these. And J for join. You'll see these 2 become 1 here. So J for join. Now that's just 1. And then I'm going to Alt X, and that's going to give me my mirror tool. And I'm just going to press F for freestyle, and then I'm going to click and drag down, and you'll see it appear over here. Whoops, you don't want it at an angle, so let me just press period for isolate. This is a little bit easier. Alt X for mirror, and you'll see the mirror axis is way over here. So we're going to go F for freestyle. I'm just going to click and drag down to create my axis, just like that, axis, and get one on this side. So now I've got 2 of them, 1, 2, and then I'm going to get out of the isolated mode by clicking that. And let's select this one that we duplicated here and press G and move it over. So it's a little bit like this, maybe like that. So it's just sort of overlapping that edge. And then our middle one here, this rectangle, let's look at it from the top, press 7, and we're going to press G to move it a lot closer and in a little bit, but a lot closer to these metal plates here. So something like this, like that. We'll just maybe test that for now. Maybe in just a little bit. We have to connect it to this outside one here, right? And then 1 for control vertices, G, move it over. Again, just sort of looking at it from the top. just kind of even with the second to last one, I guess. Something like that. Okay. Looks good. And now we can press 3 and select all of these sort of pseudo faces like this. Our extrude tool comes up automatically. Let's look at it from the top maybe. And I'm going to extrude out this way a little bit. So not a ton, it's pretty thin, just something like this. And hit enter. Now we've got 3 bodies here, right? 1, 2, 3. I don't need these curves anymore, so I'm going to delete them. And now we need to connect them. So I think I'm going to press 3 and push this one out a little bit more this way. Now with this still selected, let's shift select that face. We have 2 faces selected. And I'm going to loft these together. It's kind of like bridging in Modo or, Blender if you use the bridge tool. This loft is going to create geometry between these 2 faces. So down here, it's the L key, or you can click this little loft button, click like that, and you see you've got this nice little curvy thing there, right? Now that's, if I look at it from the top, you can see the curve a little bit better. In fact, we're not intersecting with this, which is what we want, but I'm not sure I want this curve. So I press period again to isolate, and then, it seems to have like cancel that command. So press L again and get that loft. Over here we have our continuities, and this will help us sort of determine the curviness of it. So I can adjust the tension. I can click and drag. You can see that tension sort of moving in and out there. One from this one right here will be the tension of this side, so you can see what I'm doing. And this one is the tension of this side. But I think I want it straight. So you can do these sort of built-in ones, G1, G2, like this, or you can go G0, which is just linear, like that. And I think I'm going to go linear, and then we'll do a little bit of a fillet later on. So hit OK. So now we've got this. It created a new solid. It didn't connect the solid. So now we've got multiple solids here. We've got press 4. We've got this solid. We've got this solid. We've got this solid. And when we get out of isolation mode here, we've got this solid, right? So we're going to do the same thing over here. Press 3 for face. Select this face. Select this face. L for loft. Boom. Gives us the sort of curvy one. We want the G0 straight one like that. Okay. Enter. Now we've got, looking at from the top, we've got our 2 lofts. I think that looks pretty good. And we just need to do a little bit of cleanup work here. So I'm going to press, I'm going to grab all of these guys. So down here, just shift select up and grab all of these guys. Oops, we don't want the bottom one. All of these guys here, and we're going to just QQ to Boolean union, QQ. And now it's all one piece. Let's rename this bottom piece here. Let's just call it like hand grip or something. I'm not really sure that's a hand grip or front grip. I don't know. What is that thing? I don't know. Front grip, we'll call it. Maybe you'll hold it like that. I don't know. So this guy here, let's just press period to isolate it, and 7 to look at it from the top. You'll notice that this is a little bit too thin here. Same over here, although it's a little bit better. So let's just 3 select these faces and just eyeball it. Just look at it from the top maybe. You want this to be about the same thickness all the way across. So enter there, and then select this one. Look at it from the top and thicken that bad boy out a little bit so it's thick all the way around. Looks good. And now let's press 2 for edges. Let's grab these 2 and hold shift and grab those 2 and hold shift and grab these others. And we're just going to fillet these. So we just, we're just rounding out these edges a little bit, right? Just like that. So hit OK. Looks good. We've got this nice little bracket here. We just need to cut some holes in it right here and right here, and then put in the little bolts, and then we'll duplicate it around. So let's do that. So I'm just going to look at it 3 from the side, and I'm going to come over here and create a cylinder. And just I'm going to hover here and push out, and then look at it this way. Let's just sort of push it in like this. Let's type in the radius, call it 0.15, like that, so we can get the same radius on the other side. Hit OK. Let's go to the other side. Got our cylinder. Kind of hover over that little point there. Now you'll notice like on this side, I'm not like it's not it's rotated 90 degrees. I want it to be flat on this face and not like parallel or perpendicular to it. So here's a way you can do that. You can just select the face like that and then hit the spacebar, and you'll have this thing up here at the top called a temporary construction plane. And what that did is it just moved the whole grid, and it sort of transformed it onto that plane. So we have now our center of our universe, so to speak, is right there on this plane, right there on that face that we had selected. And then when I go and make my cylinder here and just again hover and click and drag, it's doing it correctly, and I'm going to drag out that way. I'm going to do a new body, just new body, so just B for new body. And remember it was 0.015 for the radius, so hit OK. And so now we have these two guys here. In fact, you can press 4 for body and press G for move and just drag them both out just a little bit. Enter like that. And then to get out of this temporary construction plane, I think you could just hit spacebar again, or you could like click the X here. We'll click the X, get rid of it. Whoops, let's get our perspective view. Okay, so now we got two little guys here, and I'm just gonna, on this one, I'm just gonna press 3 for the face and push it up just a little bit like that. Okay, so let's do some cutting. Let's grab 4 for our bodies, and then Q, and we're going to select this one, and then hold Shift and select this one, and it's going to chop our holes into it. And then we want to keep those cylinders because we're going to use them to create the bolts. I mean, why not? We already have them. So T for keep tools. You'll see it turn sort of milky pink. Hit OK. So now we've got holes in there. And then I'm going to press 3 and grab that face, and press 3, or I'm sorry, Shift and grab that face. And I'm just going to push these in a little bit. So those faces are pushed in. There's just a little bit of a gap. It doesn't have to be a huge one, just like a little one, like just so you can see a little bit of a gap there. Hit OK. And then maybe let's press 2 and grab that edge there. And this, hold Shift, grab that edge, and just do a little chamfer. OK, like that, and yeah, there we go. So now let's press period, get out of this, and first thing we should do probably is mirror this thing. So let's grab these 3 guys, and I wonder, I think I'm going to Boolean these together. I just don't want so many different objects here. So let's press period again, isolate them, and you know what I said about creating the gap? Let's undo that. So select, hold Shift, select both those faces, and then instead of having a gap, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag so it actually intersects there like that. Enter, and then 4 for bodies. I'm going to select 1, 2, 3 bodies, and then I'm going to press Q and Q again for union. Hit OK. Now they're all together, and we can just press 3 and push this one back a little bit, maybe like that. Let's take a look. I don't know if those should be, let's see what those look like. Press period. I guess it's pushing it, clicking into that, going into that. I think that's fine. Okay, so now we just have this one bracket to deal with instead of a bracket and 2 little bolts. I think that's, the little gap wasn't worth it. So let's just put them all together. And again, in polygon modeling, if you're in Modo or Blender, Maya, whatever, you can have a one polygon item, which is just a container for polygons, and have separate polygon islands that aren't touching each other. To have a solid in plasticity, everything, it has to be like a watertight solid. Things have to touch, right? So that's what we have here. So I'm going to press V for mirror, or I'm sorry, Alt, not V, that's Modo. Alt X for mirror. And then I'm just going to click on this side, boom, like that. And we'll get one of those guys over there, enter. And then now we just need the ones kind of up top here. So I'm going to do that by doing a duplication and a rotation and then a mirror. So let's grab this bracket. By the way, when you duplicate something, like I duplicated this bracket, I wish you would call it bracket 01 or bracket 02 or whatever, instead of just solid, but I'll rename them in a second. So we got this guy, so Shift D to duplicate it. Now there's 2 of them in the exact same place there. Press R for rotate, and then F I'm sorry, R for rotate, and then V for pivot. We're going to change the pivot of a rotation to the center here. So in fact, you should just see all these little dots there. So click that. And now our rotation is at the center of these cylinders. And so when I rotate it, it'll just sort of keep it on the edge of that cylinder like that. And so, I don't know, something like maybe between, let's look at it from the front, press 1. Maybe sort of between these two guys here is the best. So something like that. I don't know what angle that is. I can't, yeah, okay. Something like that. And then with it still selected, we'll just do Alt-X again and then click there to bring it over to the other side. Okay. And now we've got our four brackets, right? All this little detail just starts adding up and making this look a lot cooler. So we've got our 4 brackets. Of course, they're not all named bracket. Also, like, I should be able to like right click and like rename bracket, and it just renames them all bracket 01, 02, 03, 04. I mean, that's a Modo thing, but Modo's really good at that type of stuff. So instead I have to double click it and call them all bracket, I guess. Looks like I did rename one of them. Anyway, I'm just going to select these 4 and group it. We'll just call this bracket just to clean up our item list over there a little bit. So we got a bracket group. Bracket. Group. Okay. And then, whoops, don't have the little slash there at the end. Okay, and Control S save. And let's move on. Let's do, I guess, the top sort of sights we should do next. These sights right here. So it looks like several pieces. There's one piece, this flat piece, kind of like a big T, kind of like a double T, I guess. We can do that by creating the profile and curves, extruding it, and doing a fillet, I suppose. And then we'll create a couple of these shapes here with curves and do some Boolean work on that. And then a profile for this sort of iron sight here. Sound good? All right, so why don't we select this face here and then press space. That makes a construction plane, temporary construction plane at that top face there. And then let's do our center rectangle and just sort of click in the origin here and just draw it like a square. That's fine. We're going to adjust it with just by pressing 1 and selecting these vertices and just G moving them into place. So 1 will kind of move it all the way back there. And then I think actually it's kind of like in the middle of somewhere around here. That's fine. Kind of in the middle of that piece like that. Press 2 to select the, or just select the curve over here. That's fine. S for scale. Let's just make it a little bit skinnier. Like maybe not super skinny. Maybe like that. Enter. And then let's create another one. So again, just center rectangle. You could just do it from the origin here. Just make just make a sort of a rectangle coming out and press enter. G, we're going to move it way up here. Whoops. G, and grab that little Y-axis handle and slide it along the top here. Something like this. Let's look at it from the top. I think I want it to be kind of in the center of these pieces here because it's going to connect to them. S for scale and move it out like this. Enter. 1 for verts. Let's just move these a little bit farther along like that. 2, let's select that rectangle, Shift D to duplicate it, and then go down to here. Sort of just eyeball it, so it's kind of in the middle of those pieces. And then let's grab, yeah, maybe just press 1, grab the verts here, and G just to make them a little bit thicker like that. You can just, yeah, just something, get them kind of, just eyeball them. Something like that. These pieces are going to connect to each of these pieces here. Kind of like if you look at these little cross T's here, they're like welded, I guess, or some sort of like welding or something onto the battery pack, whatever this back part is. So something like that. And then let's grab all 3 of these and press period to isolate it. And what is it? Oh, that's our we can just click out of our temporary construction plane now, I think. They're all on the same plane, which is good. So press T, and let's, for trim, and let's just chop out the middles here. Boom, 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 boom. Looks good, and okay. And then select all of these curves, and J for join. Now it's just one big curve. And then press 1, and I'm going to select all the verts, and then F, I'm sorry, not F, B, for bevel / fillet, right? And we're going to get those nice little rounded edges there. Hit OK. Yeah, that's basically what we want, I think. And then if I press 3 to face mode and hover over this, I'll get my extrude, and I can pull it up. Hit OK, and there it is. Let's press the period key to get out of isolation mode. Can I do that? Yep, there we go. And I don't think I need this curve anymore, so we'll delete that. We'll just call this, site base or something along those lines. And then I think we want to press 3 and grab that top face, Control 2 to grab the boundary edges, and then round those down a little bit as well. Okay. And then I think we want to push the bottom up just a little bit. So press 3, get that bottom face and push it up just a little bit, because we want that sort of, if we look at it from the side, we want a little bit of a gap there because it's welded on. So we'll create some little mushy weld marks, I guess. Not something I'd normally do in plasticity, but we'll give it a shot. Something like this. So hit OK. And then Control 2, let's just match that fillet there. So let's just start our fillet and click and match it. So yeah, just something like that. Hit OK. All right. So we've got that part. And taking a look here, we've got this part. It's a little bit taller. Maybe I'll make it a little bit taller. Let's create this end part here, and then the sights as well. So back in plasticity, look at it from the side. What did I say? A little bit taller, press 3, and just push that up a little bit. We're just eyeballing things. All right, so let's get our little side thing going on here. I'm just going to press 3 to look at it from the side. And let's take a look at the reference one more time. It's just basically a wedge shape there. So let's just create we'll just create a corner rectangle. I'm just going to drag it over here. I'll just create it over here and then sort of move it into position. So press 1, G, get that moved down a little bit like that. And maybe the top one, let's do a decent sized rounded fillet like that. Move this down even a little bit more. And then just these 3, let's do a much more subtle sort of fillet like that. Okay, looks good. And then, yeah, we're just going to press 3 and select that. It pops up the extrude tool. We'll just sort of extrude it out a little bit. Enter. Select this face, Control 2, gives me the boundary edges. Whoops. Double click escape to drop everything. We don't need this rectangle, even though we extruded it, still exists. We don't need it. Let's just delete it. So again, select the face here with Shift, Control 2 to get the edges, and I'm just going to put a bit of a rounded edge on this as well, something like that. Okay, and then 4 for the whole body, and then select it, G to move it, kind of move it over. Let's see, is it something like? I'll look at it from the side. Something like this, I guess. We'll put the little welding parts there as well, but look at it from the top. Maybe more like this, I suppose. Maybe more like this, and we'll put the bolt all the way through it. So something, yeah, something like this, I think. Enter, select it, Alt X, and then you can just click the little X axis there to mirror it to the other side. Enter, looks good, and then yeah, we'll just put a bolt through the whole thing to sort of put them all together there. So let's go to side view like this. And then our cylinder, this, and we want to do a, I guess let me hold control, try and get it stuck on that surface over there. And we want to, I think we want to keep the body. So remember that is, I just kind of can't see it there, but it's B, new body. Or I'm sorry, not B, new body. T, keep tool. So we want to do the cut, but we want to keep the tool, so T. And so it's going to make those little cuts, but it's also going to keep the tool there, and then hit OK. And then for this guy, we can scale it out just a little bit like that. And select either edge. Actually, let's actually press 4 and S for scale. Get it out quite a bit like this, and then I'm going to select both of these edges here and start a fillet. But then I'm going to click the edge of the cylinder, and I'm going to get the nice rounded edges like that. Hit Enter. And I'm going to scale it down, so it's going to flatten those edges a little bit, but also, yeah, I think that looks, whoops. I think that looks good, so something around that, hit OK, OK. So now we've got a bunch of different pieces here. So let's grab this one, grab this one, grab this one, and let me hide those. Wait, OK, Control Z. So let's, I guess we'll just boolean all this stuff together. So grab this base as well, and QQ. We're just going to put them all together, hit OK, press period so you can just kind of see it. So yeah, we just put everything together. I don't think we need to do a fillet on this edge. I think it's kind of hidden there, but it's just one big piece now, this sight. All right, well, let's look at the reference real quick. The sights are really just make a little profile, I think, and extrude it and do some, we'll chop out the middle there. So, okay, let's do that. So looking at it from, press 3, look at it from the side, and navigate over here. The sight's going to go right here. So again, I'm just going to do a rectangle, like so, Enter, and then another rectangle. It'll snap to that bottom one and kind of go out this way, like so. Enter. T for trim out that guy here, and then Enter. 2, grab both these guys, join them together. 1, select this guy, and let's get a nice sort of rounded fillet, and then we'll round, I guess, the rest of these. Well, let's round this one a little more, probably like that, and then these 3 will just round a little tiny bit like that. Hit OK. And yeah, let's just extrude this bad boy. So 2 selected, G, move it over a little bit to sort of like on that crossbeam there. Enter. 3, select our pseudo face and then scooch it over. This is interesting. How do I know it's the same distance on both sides? I guess we'll just center it in a minute. So let's move it over like this. Just sort of eyeball it, I guess. I don't know how to make sure. Oh, I know how to do it. So Control Z, undo. Get it in the middle, and we're going to extrude. So again, 3, select that face there and start extruding. But then press Tab, and it'll extrude both sides at once. And that way we'll know it's sort of the same on both sides. Something like this. Yeah, okay. It's just the iron sight, probably not that thick. So something like that. Let's grab this edge down here. We can go ahead and delete this curve now. Let's grab this edge down here and just round it a little bit. Whoops. Push in here, round it a little. Let's match this side over here like that. Hit OK. And then G, I'm going to move it. I'm going to intersect this. Well, no, let's see. Let me look at it from the, I guess it's a, we'll move it down close like it's welded. So not quite intersected, but kind of like this. And then Enter. grab both these faces here, Control 2 to get the edges. Maybe chamfer those, so instead of rounding it. Okay. And then we just need to chop out that middle part. So let's look at it from the front. And let's just do a line here. And I'm just going to drag down, go to the middle like that. And then I'm going to Alt X. And I'm going to mirror it over like that. Enter, and then select them both. And then J for join. And then I'm just going to have this curve selected here, C for cut, select that guy, hit OK. Let's delete that solid from the middle, and then we can delete our curves here. And I suppose we can grab this guy like this, Control 2, match that, just click and match that chamfer so we have it nice and even all the way down. I think that's it. I think press period. I think that's our site. It's not quite as chunky as the one in the reference maybe, but I think that's okay. Oh, we need to get some screws. So screws here, 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 and then these little weld things. This is the type of stuff that you would do in like Modo, where you just sort of make a cylinder there, taper it on one end, and then subdivide it and use the sculpting tools to get the lumpiness. Oh, we'll just do, I know what we can do like a revolve here just for the fun of it. But yeah, those sort of welds you get here, that stuff's just better done in a polygon program. But okay, we'll do it in here. So look at it from the top, press 7. And I'm just going to do a Boolean union. I'm just going to add this on here. So maybe we'll just start in the middle here so it's centered. Click. And then B for new body. Whoops, what did I just do? Click and drag. And then I'm just going to Alt here like this. Let's just do a B for new body. And then squish this down, enter G, let's move it back up into place here like this. So something like this, move it over to this side and push it down. Let's grab, enter, let's grab this edge here and do a chamfer like this. And then the top, enter, let's 3 top face, O for offset, push it in a little bit, enter, and then grab that middle one and push it down a little bit. Something like that. There's just like a little bit of detail. And then let's select that and press 4 and select the body. Alt X, and let's get this mirrored over like so. Enter. And then with both of them selected, Shift D to duplicate them, and the move tool comes up automatically. Let's just eyeball it. Let's move them over to this part. Like so. And then I'm going to grab all 4 of those guys and our solid here, everything but the iron sights, and then Q, okay, they're all just one big piece. And then we're going to call this one iron sights, and this bracket below it iron sights bracket. And yeah, to get the little, let's look at it from the side. I'm going to grab both these and just move them down a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to do the welding. We'll just do this. We're going to keep it nice and clean like that, I think, for now. I think that's good enough. Okay, so now we just need to really do this bottom piece here. This bottom piece here with the trigger cut into it and the handle, and then I suppose, these clips and this bracket and these little nodules here. So why don't we do, maybe let's do the wires and the bracket first, and then we'll just wrap everything up with the handle. All right, I think I'm gonna adjust this top part. This just seems kind of too small for me, these sights here. So let's see if we can beef it up a little bit. I'm gonna go to 4, body mode, select these 2 here, G for move, and just move it up a little bit. Got it from the side, press 3, maybe like this, and then I'll press 3 for face mode. Whoop, enter to confirm that. Then press 3 for face mode and grab that bottom face and just push it back down, looking at it from the side here. And then enter to confirm. Let's maybe see if we can beef up these sides a little bit. Whoops, maybe select all 4 of these faces and see if we can just push out. Thicken them up. In fact, let's grab these 2 back here while we're at it. And let's just thicken everything up a little bit. Just a little bit chunkier. I think that's better. Okay, let's get the bottom of these guys, these 2 triangular sights. Back down. I think I should be able to press period to isolate. Can I select match face and click here? There we go. Looks good. Okay. And include the press period to get out of here. Whoops, press period to get out of the isolate. And then should make the iron sights a little bigger maybe. Select both sides and just widen them out. Is that going to work for me? Do I have to do... Sometimes it doesn't play nice with the chamfers. Yeah, so let's see here. Let's grab, hold Shift and Alt and get that whole loop there. Let me try that one more time. Shift and Alt, get that whole loop. Just Shift to select the big one to get that facing that way again. Okay, it's just gonna make our chamfers non-existent, but we'll put them back on there. So let's just select both of these, Shift Alt to get the loops, and then Shift to place the handle back on the planar one there. Make it bigger, and then enter Control 2 to get the outline edges, and then just chamfer that one more time. Hit OK, and yeah, I think that looks better. It's just kind of everything's just a little bit chunkier. Maybe even make let's see if we can make these things a little bit bigger as well. Just shift and select each of these faces. Push out on them. Yeah, it's something like that. Just bigger. I think that looks better. Everything's a little bit chunkier. That one's fine. I think we could use, press enter to lock that in. I think we could maybe drop a couple more of these guys on here. So I'm just gonna select this face, this face, this face, this face, and Shift, oops, get that inner one as well. Get all those faces, Shift D to duplicate. And right now it's a sheet. If I, look underneath, it's hollow, so it's just a 2D object right now. It's not solid. I'm just going to press period to isolate it. So let's press 2. Let's get that bottom circular edge there, and we're going to patch it. So click on this little icon here, patch holes, boom. And once I hit OK, you'll see it's going to become a solid. Boom, now it's a solid, right? Even though it has sheet in the name, it's under the solids. Period to get out of here, and then G to move. We're just going to position this back over our iron sight here. Dip it in a little bit so it's intersecting. Yeah, something like that. And then OK, Alt X to mirror it. I'm going to mirror on X there. OK. Now I've got the 2 of them there, so 4 for bodies. Select all 3 of these guys, all 3 of the bodies there. And then Q again for union, and we just boolean them together into one, and we'll name this iron sight. Okay, looks good. I think I should want to add some more detail to these guys, just like a little, indentation there. So select all three of them, press O for offset. We're going to bring it in just a little bit, enter, and then push them in a little bit like that, enter. I don't think we need to chamfer those edges. I think they're fine. So I just wanted a little more detail on those. I think that looks good. I also wanted to. I don't think this is right here. I think this bottom part that's hanging off the bottom should be inset a little bit and not just go straight down. So I'm going to see if I can. Let me just save this. Let's see if we can, delete some geometry and fix it. So part of modeling is, especially when it's not procedural like this direct modeling. So I don't care if you're in Plasticity or working in Modo, Blender, you're dealing with polygons. You're going to have to delete stuff and redo it sometimes if it's not procedural. So I can't go back in and adjust these things like remove this chamfer procedurally. I'm just going to have to hold Shift-Alt and select all of these guys. Whoops. Select all of these little faces here, and then I'm going to delete it. So this guy, if you hold Alt and Shift, you can kind of get all those edges at once. So yeah, that looks about right. And then delete. So those are now gone. We just have these hard edges. And I think I'm going to... Let's see. Oh, there's like, okay, there's a fillet here that doesn't exist over there. So let me just select that fillet and delete it. Yeah, so let's look at it from the side, 3. And then Shift A to create a straight line tool. And then just click at this corner, it should snap, and then snap at that corner, enter. Now we've got our line here. Shift I to imprint. We're just going to create some control curves essentially around this bottom section. Select our solid to imprint, hit OK. We can delete our line now, and you see we've got this line all the way across here. And that should allow us to grab, for instance, like this edge here, press G for move, and just move it in. And we'll just maybe 0.04, like that, enter, and then select the one over here, G for move, and then 0.04 as well. Okay. And I think that's just, I think that's a little bit better. So yeah, okay, looks good. So let's save this, and then we'll move on to the sort of base part, the little rack down here, and then the handle.
Yum, yum.